So let's look at your, oh, y'all haven't gotten that yet, have you?
Who is
I haven't gotten your computer terms yet.
PHS is supposed to come here.
And your Payday's going to be a day early this week, so I know that's kind of makes it come up kind of quick since you didn't get it till today, but probably wouldn't study till the day before next time. Most people don't next time. Let's just go over these really quick. I have your abbreviations on there first. A with a line over it is before. I always have people who think it's after. It's not, it's before. Or you just think A is first, so A is before everything else. That's how I remember it. And a lot of these, if you're like, why do these words mean, why are these the abbreviation? You might have thought that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it has to do with the Latin word, which is where we get a lot of our medical terms. So that's why some of them, the letters seem kind of crazy. It's like, why would that mean that? That's why. Q day. Q always means every. Anytime you see Q in front of anything, it means every. So Q day is just every day. Q, I mean, you can use that at any time. Q hour, Q week, whatever. Just means every. BID means twice a day. That's usually pretty easy. Bi, means two, like a bicycle has two wheels and so forth. TID means 3 times a day. So, okay, let me ask you this. So if you take something, let's say your medicine is prescribed BID, how often, so you're going to take it twice a day, how many hours in between?
12.
Yeah, every 12 hours. What about TID?
8.
Yes, every 8 hours. Does that make sense? QID is 4 times a day. I think of Q like, like quad or quarter. So how often are you going to take that? Every 6 hours, yes. Okay, H is hour. So you could, you might see QH, that'd be Q hour. Be another way of how that might be used. Okay, the terms anatomy just means the study of the structures of the body. The literal meaning of it is to cut apart. Tomy is the suffix for cut or an incision, and Anna or Ann, is without or not, or it can mean like a part. Renal means pertaining to the kidneys. Okay, there's actually 2 words that have to do with the kidneys, and we won't learn the other one for another few weeks, but it's nephro. So both of those, but renal is kidney, like renal dialysis, kidney dialysis. Are we talking about dialysis in here? Everybody know what dialysis is? Where they put you on a machine and it filters your blood for you. Your kidneys don't work. We may have talked about that the other day. Yeah, we talked about it. Okay. Whoever that was in here, that me. But renal means kidney. Cervical is pertaining to the neck. So like your cervical spine is this portion of your spine. It can also have to do, you probably heard the word cervix before. That's the bottom part of the uterus. And it's kind of a neck-shaped portion of the uterus. So cervical just means neck. Buccal means pertaining to the cheek. So it's like inside, like if you take some tablets are buccal, you kind of put them in your cheek and they just like get absorbed. That's buccal. Bilateral means pertaining to 2 or both sides. Remember, bi means 2 or both. Lateral always means side. So that's both sides or 2 sides. So if I say, you need to, they had wounds on their bilateral feet, that means they had them on both feet. Okay. Unilateral is one side, like a unicycle, one wheel. Umbilicus, that's your belly button, like umbilical cord. Microscope is an instrument used to observe objects. You guys know what a microscope is. Too small to be seen. And then cataracts is a condition where the lens of the eye becomes really cloudy. You probably have had family members with cataracts before they had them removed. And you can usually tell when looking at someone if they have cataracts because you can just see their whole eye will look real cloudy. It's like it would be hard to see out of. And it actually is. I'll pass these glasses around. I have some glasses you can actually put on and that kind of show you what it would, let you see what it would look like to have cataracts.
My grandma actually had hers removed this summer.
So they're just kind of cloudy.
Oh my gosh.
Now it could be worse than that, or not that bad. But it's just a way.
Oh, thank you, darling.
A couple other things on this week's paper, if you'll notice. So we'll work on the project. We'll do an assignment today. It won't take real long. Work on projects tomorrow. Thursday, we'll have the payday first, work on projects. And then Friday, we're actually going to have a test over the history, the PowerPoint, just the information on there. And I will go over with you Thursday specifically on what, what we'll do. Some specific slides to go over and whatnot. Okay? Or I can go over that today if you want to.
I'm sorry.
I can go over them today if you want to, or I can wait till the end of the minute.
This is what it looks like when you
The stuff to study for the test.
We can do it today.
You want to do it today? Let's go over some specific things that you guys will want to study for the test.
Are we taking notes on it?
No, we've already taken notes on it. You're just going to use your PowerPoint to study for the test. But I was just going to go over some specific things. You might write them down, things that you want to look over. There are a few old questions on there, so you might just glance over the insurance test. There's just a couple of them. There are 6 true false, and there are 14 multiple choice. There's a few matching, and there's a few short answers. A little bit of everything. What caused the bubonic plague?
Is
The
it
black plague. Do what?
Oh, it's in the air, isn't it?
No. They came over on ships.
Oh,
Rats. Rats. What was specifically on the rats?
Fleas.
Fleas on the rats. Yes. Good. Make sure you know who the father of medicine is. Who is that?
Hippocrates.
Hippocrates. Mm-hmm. What were some things that were done during Egyptian times that we still use today?
Embalming.
Embalming. Mm-hmm.
We still do that today.
What?
Yeah, we just don't mummify people.
Yeah, we just don't mummify.
It's not leeching, that leech.
Yeah, that could be something.
Right now, enemas.
They don't actually mummify people anymore, but anyways. Yeah, circumcision, enemas,
Closing wounds
closing wounds,
and
setting fractures. Good. What were some things that they found on mummies that we still are still illnesses today that we see? I think that slide should be right before that one. Arthritis, what else? Kidney stones. Yeah, good. Let's see. What was used for medications in ancient times?
Oh, prayer. They use like the
Yes. But yeah, herbs and plants. That's what they actually used for medicine. But yes, they did, they believe, what did they believe was the cause of, yeah, like spiritual. Okay, what is trephining or trepanation? That should be on one of the very first slides.
And they take the part of the skull out to really crush you.
But they a lot of times did it to like get rid of evil spirits or whatever. That's why they either drilled a hole or took a portion of the skull out. Yeah. Not something I would want to have done.
Isn't that called like a lobotomy today?
A lobotomy is, I think they go through the eye. Well, I guess not now. Okay, let me fix that same. So, a lobotomy would just be a removal of a lobe. So, yes, now they would do it. They could pull out part of the skull, but it was a little bit different. This was like, did that and left it, and anyways. But they used to do lobotomies, like for people who were, who had some kind of mental illness. Any of y'all ever watched the movie Shutter Island?
Yes.
No.
It's kind of creepy. Anyways, that's one of the things they talk about doing, is a lobotomy, and they go through their eye. I don't really understand exactly how that worked, but yeah. But now, a lobotomy would just be a removal of a lobe, like the lobe of the brain. So I guess they just do it now. They just open it up and take it if they need to do that.
I saw on the news the other day where this woman in Australia, she was having brain surgery done. They made her play violin while doing it because she was some famous violin player, but she got what do you call the shakes?
Tremors.
Yeah, the tremors. She got the tremors, and they went into her brain and fixed it. She's now able to play violin again.
That's crazy. Can you imagine you're playing violin while they're working?
I couldn't even imagine.
You're really creepy. Make sure you study your payday terms. There's a few payday terms in here. What did look at your Greek slides, or the ones over the Greek. What did they really bring to the table that was significant?
They learned.
What were you saying, Maddie?
They learned the human body and the effects of disease.
Yeah, they were kind of the first ones to really come out and say that disease was not necessarily a supernatural thing, that there could be a cause behind it. Who were the surgeons in the Middle Ages?
The priest.
The Middle Ages.
Oh.
They had a sign outside their door.
Barber surgeon.
Oh no.
Remember? They had the little spinny thing. How did Edward Jenner discover the smallpox vaccination?
By injecting cowpox.
Yeah. Remember, he injected, he figured out that the milkmaids weren't getting smallpox because they had already had cowpox. So he figured out that they were immune to it. What were some of the surgeries that they allowed in the Middle Ages that they did, the barber surgeons?
Bloodletting, cataracts, and amputation.
Okay. Okay, here's the people that you need to know. These are the specific people. You can just write their names down. You can circle them in your thing if you want to. Let's see. Edward Jenner. What did he come up with? He developed a vaccination. Yes, he was one who did smallpox. Florence Nightingale. Who was she? She was like that.
No, she
Red
was
Cross.
known as the founder of modern nursing.
Yes, she was the nurse, the founder of nursing. She was the lady with the lamp that brought the Crimean, was in the Crimean War. Louis Pasteur, what did he do? Yeah, he came up, he figured out that you could, sterilize is the right word, but that you could boil milk or anything basically and get rid of the germs. What about Willem Röntgen?
X-rays.
Who was the first person he x-rayed?
His blood.
What about Alexander Fleming?
His government.
Penicillin, why was that significant?
The most, like,
He
treats a
used
lot of antibiotics.
Right, it's a broad spectrum antibiotic, so that means it treats lots of different things. Very good. And then what about Joseph Lister? I always think of Lister.
Oh, he found out the bacteria on the pee. Yeah. And, no. Yeah.
Or he used
No,
carbolic
no.
acid on wounds to kill germs.
Yes. He's the clean one, I think.
You said Listerine,
Which
so I was
one?
thinking.
I know. Yes,
Pee.
I probably shouldn't have said that. I think of that because I think of clean. Yes, he was the first one, like in surgery, to, wash instruments. Can you imagine? Clara Barton, she was the founder of what? The Red Cross. And then what about Linnet? Renee Linnet. He invented something. The stethoscope. I'll send this card down in a minute. Okay. Make sure. I'll give you guys your 3 short answer questions just so that you'll know what's coming for you. Be prepared to explain why cities had an impact, like people moving to cities had an impact on disease. Cities became more common, so people were moving into cities. This was like dark and Middle Ages. Why did that have an impact on disease?
Like, they were closer, so the bacteria was.
Cities hitting people.
I'm just going to give you guys some questions so you can answer one of them.
Are you saying why the cities got
What?
more diseases?
Basically, yes.
Okay.
What kind of impact did it have on disease, the fact that people were moving into the cities? Okay. The next one, make sure that you can give an example of a significant accomplishment from the 20th century. That's the 1900s. What's something that was significant? And describe it. There's lots of things to pick from in that century, the 1900s. 20th century. And then one potential advancement of healthcare for this century, 21st century. So what's something that we hope to accomplish? Okay, so that should get you going with your studying at least. What was the last question? Just what's something that we hope to accomplish this century?
Oh, it's like potential.
Uh-huh. Sure. Go back real quick. I don't think I went over this one. Go to your slide on the Renaissance. What was something that was very significant that happened during that time?
Printing press.
Printing press. What did that enable them to do?
Medical knowledge was shared.
Yeah, they were able to print books so people could actually learn what they were doing before they did it. Right. What what did they do that enabled them to be able to draw pictures and write books and so forth? Yeah, why was dissection significant?
Because now they knew what was going on.
Yeah, they knew what it looked like on the inside. Good. Okay. Which gives you an idea of what to say. Make sure you look over your old test. Make sure you look over your payday terms because there's some old words on there. And that's it. It's Friday. Okay, I'm going to give you guys this paper real quick, and then I'm going to kind of go over how to do this. We're going to do this. I'm going to let you guys give me the pairs, actually. Since I don't have enough computers in here for everybody. Okay, so this is Dr. N. So it gives you the exact website that you need to go to. Okay. It says select a set of symptoms. You have 3 choices, and then you'll fill in. So what you're going to do is you're just going to, there's like 3 options, like 3 patients basically for you to choose from. You can pick which one that you want to research. Not really research, but you're going to look up. And then you'll write those here where it says symptoms. And then you'll visit the basically, and this will make more sense when you see the website. But you're just going to fill it in as to how those different things would have been done during those time periods. So like in the year 1900, they'll talk about what the examination would have looked like versus 1950 versus, more recent. I mean, it's not that recent, but more recent at least. For example, let's say somebody broke their arm. I don't think that's one that's on here. In the 1900s, they would have just looked at it and, well, did we have x-rays then? I didn't reckon. X-ray. 18th. So, yeah, there are not dates on this test, by the way. There's not any. I mean, there's like generalized dates, like, in the Renaissance or Middle Ages or whatever, but there's not any specific dates, so don't worry about that. Anyways, so you'll put in there, what would they expect to have done exam-wise there versus now and so forth. Okay. Kind of a fun, I think you guys will find this really interesting because within the last 100 years, healthcare has changed a lot. And so it's kind of this is really kind of a fun thing.